Here we're going to take a known good unit, measures out at 4.750, which is what we want. And we're going to mount it inside the lathe. And then we are going to bring our bit right up to it, just so it scratches it. We're going to move it back and forth. There we go. And can you see, to autofocus, you see that tiny little scratch? Oops, right there. That's where I just touched it. That's so we can position our parting bit right here, and it is locked. The carriage is locked down. Then we take this threaded rod. I have 2 nuts and a collar welded together, and this is a jamb nut. So I can insert this into the back of the lathe, all the way up to the back of our known good unit. Then I can adjust this forward or backward so that our lock bolt comes in contact with it. Okay, and that way we can get a consistent depth every time we put a rough piece in there. And there we go. We're going to insert this in. So obviously we're going to have to back this whole bit out because it's sitting in there just a little too deep. All right, so we put it in there. It goes in too deep, so we can unscrew it a bit. There we go. Put it in a vise. Torque these against each other. Okay, got that together. Got this cinched together tightly. Now there's a little bit of room, so let's take that up with an Allen wrench. Let's put it opposite our set screw and tighten down our set screw. Nice and tight. There we go. So every time we put a piece in, it's going to bottom against that threaded rod. And when our parting bit comes in, we're going to have it at the same length. Now what I am going to do is, you can see, perhaps you can. Well, first off, we're going to use a new bit. There's a little chunk out of the top there. That's a used bit. We'll start off with a new one. I'm going to start in this position. I'm going to cut a piece. I'm going to measure it. And then, using the style, I'm going to move my bit in or out as needed to get the perfect size. I do have plus or minus 5/1000ths of length, so there's a little bit to play with. Alright, so here's our one end good. Since we know this is perfectly flat, we're going to put it in against the threaded rod, and we'll rotate it to make sure we get any dirt to fall out of the way, and we lock it in place. You'll notice the parting bit is going to cut in. That's a good thing. Alright, so let's measure the cut we just made. And it looks like 47.74. We went 4750. So we're 24 thousandths too long. So what we'll do, first we'll zero the scale. Oops. Hard to see, isn't it? First thing we'll do is we'll zero our scale. And then, boy, glare. It's a pain. So we're going to come in. Let's come in 15 thousandths. 15? Hard to see in this light. Through the camera, that is. Alright, so let's take a look at this cut and see what we're looking at here. 763. So let's take off another 10 thousandths. All right, so let's take a look at it, measure it, see what we come up with. This can get tricky sometimes. Okay, 4750. I actually had to cut this 4 times. I just didn't want to put you through the torture of watching me cut 1/1000th off at a time. But if you start out with your carriage in the perfect position, now I could have settled for 4752. Or going a little deeper, a little shorter. But if I start out at 4750, exactly where I want to be, then any variance to or fro, like if the bit moves, God forbid, if a piece of dirt gets in there, something gets beyond me, then I'll be more likely to stay within specification than not. So after I have my carriage exactly where I want it, I zero out my gauge. That way, I know I'm at exactly 0. Tighten up the knob. There we go. Now we're all set to make some more shafts. Like and subscribe, or I'll set this fella loose in your garage.